We have details about what's on tonight's Town Council agenda on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, September 29th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle. Wanted to chat with you a little bit about what's on the agenda. The first thing I see is you're having a presentation by the Maggie Downey from the Cape Light Compact.
That's right. Maggie will be there, as well as David Anthony, who's on the governing board and a member of the executive committee. They will be discussing the grid modernization. And for those that don't know about what the grid modernization is, the Department of Public Utilities a few years ago issued an order that required that each electric distribution, and down here it would be Eversource, develops a 10-year grid modernization plan, and it helps. They want to see better managed to help reduce electrical costs and enhance the reliability. I think they call the modernization the smart grid, because it's we'll hear about the uses of information and new communication technology to help manage the electrical distribution. So
yeah, certainly an important process, as so many individuals now have solar, and so many things have changed over the years.
That's right. And also for those that don't know about the Cape Light Compact, they're made up of all the 21 towns and 2 counties on the Cape and Martha's Vineyard. And one of their recent projects was establishing the program to switch out all of our street lights from the old, orangey lights there, which were high energy users, to the new LED lights. I think they did close to 15,000 switch outs at no cost to towns, but a significant reduction in electrical use. So,
which is what we want to see.
Right, so that's right.
Saving those dollars.
That's right.
Another thing that's going to happen is Arden Cadron from the Growth Management Office is going to present the town's housing production plan. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Yeah, again, almost 2 years ago, the town embarked with the assistance of a consultant, J.M. Goldson, to do and come up with a housing production plan for the town of Barnstable. And this is to, I'm sure we'll hear all about it and from Arden. But this is to address the cost and availability of housing in Barnstable. This was quite a long process and involved everyone, all sorts of stakeholders, from the town officials to business owners and organizations and agencies and employees and residents in the town, and help prioritize and set direction for addressing our lack of housing that's affordable and rental housing, whatnot. So we'll be hearing, as said so many times, especially on your show, how our population of seniors is increasing, and they want to age in place. They want to remain here in the town of Barnstable. They need more options, as well as our young families. They need more options for affordable homes that they can afford. So we'll be hearing the outcome of that planning process and an overview and what our next steps will be to that.
And it looks
and also, if you want to see the entire, it's a many-page document, the housing production page. It's about over 120 pages. That is available on the Growth Management's website, on the Town of Barnstable's website.
Wonderful. So residents can take a look at that if they want a more in-depth view on that. I want to chat with you a little bit too. It seems like there are a lot of appointments. The Town Council will be voting on appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. Seems like a pretty long list. Looks like the Appointments Committee has been hard at work.
They have some new appointments, but a lot of reappointments. And this, as you know, is an ongoing process, and the Appointments Committee meets once a month, so there's oftentimes backlog. But everything from the Board of Assessors down to the Trust Fund Advisory Committee and to the Youth Commission, we're running the gamut of appointing and reappointing volunteers, and we certainly appreciate them. And for those that are interested in getting involved, you can either call the Town Council office or go online, and we usually update the list of vacancies on boards, committees, and commissions.
Wonderful. Always want to keep those as populated as possible. I want to talk a little bit too about there's a proposal for a change in one of the town's ordinances. This has to do with town council meetings. Tell me why this is needed.
Yeah, that's a little housekeeping. Our ordinance says that we've got to have 2 regular meetings on the first and third Thursdays of the month, and sometimes holidays fall on those times. And when we set the calendar in December, oftentimes all of a sudden, in January in March or April, the clerk will come to the council and say, "Wait a minute, we can't have a council meeting on that day. That's the general election day, or it's primary day, or not general election, but primary day, as you know, fell on a Thursday." So this gives the council a little bit more flexibility. We'll still continue to hold 2 meetings a month on Thursdays, but gives us a little more flexibility on canceling and rescheduling meetings.
Wonderful. Sounds like an important thing that the council would need to make use of all of their time. Then I want to talk a little bit about the amendment to the administrative code for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Why is this so important?
Well, Barnstable is actually one of the last communities on the Cape to initiate this kind of advisory board, and this I thought it was important, especially after the recent presentation during a town manager communication in early spring about the South Coast Bike Route, which kind of came as a surprise to some councilors, and it was not clearly articulated, and so therefore it kind of halted. And so I think if we have a bicycle and pedestrian advisory board, they can help to educate and advise the town and its residents, not only those that that ride bike or use sidewalks, but the drivers of all the automobiles on our very tiny roads, to promote safety and planning, just to better educate our public. And so I think the committee will help to ensure safety in planning process going forward too. So. And that might be to going out to local civic associations, because I know the South Coast Bike Route came as a surprise to some of the civic associations, and had this committee perhaps done some work in the individual villages and educate them on the project, it may have been received a little bit more readily. So.
Wonderful. So important to get everybody's perspective on that. Also want to talk, there's a couple grants that you guys will vote whether or not to accept tonight, one of which is a $52,000 grant from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. Tell me a little bit about what this will be used for.
Yeah, the JAG. Actually, the town of Barnstable is facilitating the grant. They won't be receiving the entire amount. They'll receive, I think, $25,000 to purchase a portable drug and substance analyzer. But this grant is shared with Falmouth. They're receiving $10,000, and Yarmouth, who's receiving $16,000.